Hey, everybody. Always fascinating to dive into the world of telecom and wireless with Radisys, an innovator in the communication service provider space. I've known Radisys for a couple of decades at least. Ganesh, how are you?
Doing good, Ivan. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. You guys are always doing interesting work on the cutting edge of communications technology and infrastructure. For those who may not be familiar with Radisys, how do you describe yourself these days, and what's your team's mission within the company?
Sure. Radisys has been in the telecom space close to 4 decades now, founded in the late 80s by ex-Intel employees. We are based in Hillsborough and multiple offices that is Hillsborough, Oregon, and multiple offices in the US. And we do have development centers in Asia, basically in India. And our focus is delivering open telecom solutions. And we have a media product portfolio which is widely deployed with more than 150 operators worldwide. And we also offer open access networking solution, which includes open broadband wireline network, Wi-Fi networks, and more importantly, the 5G wireless Open RAN solutions. And we've been an Open RAN software supplier for more than 2 decades since the 3G days.
Yes, I've been following all of that, and talk about your personal role. What's your mission in the company, and what are you focused on these days?
Yeah, I am focused on standardization aspects, especially the 5G related standards. And I represent Radisys in a few forums, including ORAN Alliance, where I'm co-chairing one of the working groups. I'm also leading one of the work items in Small Cell Forum, which is looking at small cells in 4G and 5G. And I represent a company in various different industry forums, including the Open RAN Policy Coalition and others. In addition to this standardization effort, I'm involved in the ecosystem partnerships with various different companies who are building solutions together with us. So that brings us enough strength through the various industry forums and industry partnerships. And we also interact with the US government for many of the policy related things. I take care of that as well.
Well, you have a busy portfolio on your desk there. So let's dive
That's
right
right.
in. Advancing 5G and Open RAN technology, is part of your mission. Maybe describe some of the projects you're involved with, and what are the goals there to move the ball forward?
Sure. And we are heavily focused on the CUDU software, and wherein we are advancing our product portfolio to enable newer features as per the 3GPP releases, and the ORAN compliance is also becoming more and more important in the market. So we've been supporting the ORAN architecture and the ORAN specifications from the start. And in this journey, we have been partnering with multiple companies to benchmark our CUDU software on different platforms. It involves partners like Intel, Qualcomm, NVIDIA, and others. So based on what our customers want, whether they are building, let's say, a public network solution or a private network solution, or specialized solutions like defense applications. And there's one major customer we have who has been building the 5G network solutions with various different use cases for defense applications. So we typically enter into a partnership, build these solutions together, and Radisys also offers its own hardened 5G software where it can be directly deployed in the public networks or private networks. And we've been showcasing our 5G RAN software, the Open RAN software, in all the avenues that are available. And we've been a winner in the US DoD NTIA 5G challenge in 2022 for our DU, and for our CU and DU together in 2023 5G challenge again. So wherein we won the grand prize for the finals, and that was last year October. So we've been very active in this space, both in the standards and the implementation, and heavily supported by our partners.
Fantastic. Let's talk about interoperability in telecom. It's been a long time coming, and we've made a lot of progress, but there's still a lot of work to do when it comes to interoperability, which is, central to many of your projects. Where do we stand? What's the state of the union as far as interoperability? and the challenges and the advancements when it comes to 5G and Open RAN are have we arrived fully yet?
Sure. Yeah, it's a good question. And I think it's one of the topmost concerns with many of the people who are willing to try this, and then they are actually deterred by the complexity involved and the uncertainties involved in some cases. But I would say, personally, from my experience and what Radisys has been doing, the situation has improved over the last 4 or 5 years. And we participated in the first ORAN Alliance Plugfest back in 2019, just before COVID. And that was in Beijing, China. And from there to multiple ORAN Plugfest events which we have participated, we have interacted with many partners and many unknown players as well. And overall, for the industry, I would say the situation has dramatically improved in terms of compliance and interoperability. It still takes some work, not to minimize that part. And when it comes to making it deployment ready, I think that's where there is more focus these days versus the basic interoperability, which was a concern a few years ago. Now it's all about the fully integrated solution performing up to the expectations of the operators. And that's where some more work is needed, and the government is funding some initiatives towards that.
You've been involved in a lot of these global initiatives, not just the U.S., but Open RAN in the UK.
That's true.
Tell us about your work there, where you're making a lot of progress on deployment.
Sure. Yeah. The UK government calls it the vendor diversity, and I think they are more focused on increasing the diversity of the vendors in that region. And we participated in this Sonic Lab initiative, and they had this under the initiative called Digital Catapult. And the Sonic Labs provided an opportunity to interoperate with multiple vendors. And it started with that. And later in 2021, 2022, we also applied for one of the innovative projects funding program, and wherein we, along with our partner, a company named NTIA, who is based in UK and US, and they are one of the companies owned by the Alphabet Group, and they wanted to provide an innovative solution to solve the connectivity and throughput problem in underserved and unserved areas. So they came up with a solution idea. We built it together, and this solution is leveraging a 3GPP release 16 feature called coordinated multi-point transition. Essentially, you are connecting the UE with multiple antennas or radios at the same time simultaneously to provide it uniform, or I would say guaranteed coverage and throughput opportunity, so that even when the UE or the mobile is on the move, it is getting continuous connectivity. And this was demonstrated and showcased in the Millbrook facility, which is more a connected automotive initiative. So wherein the UE is placed in the car, let's say, going at a certain speed, without losing connectivity, can sustain sessions. And this is proving the viability of such a solution. And we are building on top of this, and then this is getting commercially offered now. And this also allows for network sharing, and it is actually going to save cost for the operators to connect through a common shared network. And with features like COM, it's going to get even more valuable to provide guaranteed connectivity and throughput.
Fantastic. And part of the goal there is supplier diversity,
Yeah, that's
diversification,
correct.
not
Yeah.
relying on a couple of, big vendors to deliver the entire network. How is that shaping up in the real world? Are you seeing that come to fruition?
Yes. Okay. So even this Densare partnership earlier started with this joint project, and we are marketing this solution, building this solution together, and multiple other vendors which we have interoperated with in the Sonic Lab as well are becoming our business partnership. And the same thing applies in the partners or the companies we met in the US 5G challenge as well. So many of these government funded or ORAN Alliance sponsored initiatives end up being opportunities to create and build new business development opportunities, partnerships.
Oh, fantastic to see the industry so vibrant. And talk about how Radisys works with customers. I mean, you work with OEMs, with infrastructure companies, with service providers. You maybe describe the model for those who may not be familiar with your go-to-market.
Sure. In the RAN space, wireless networks, we are enabling the OEMs with our software. We also offer our software directly to some of the service providers. One prime example I can talk about is our group company, Reliance Jio. We are owned by this Reliance Group, the largest industry group in India. And Reliance Jio is the second largest mobile network operator in the globe. And we are partnering with them for some of the 5G solutions. And in other regions, we are directly interacting with operators who are more interested in open RAN-based solutions. It could be in the Central Asian region, and recently we announced a deal in Africa, which is building a nationwide 5G network with shared infrastructure for two of the operators there, and supported by the Ghana government. And this is getting rolled out in the next 18 months or so, and we just started with the groundwork for that. And we also see interest in the European region for our software and open RAN solutions. And in most of these cases, are going with a radio partner and building the solution, integrating the solution. And Radisys plays the role of the system integrator, taking responsibility for the end-to-end system integration.
Fantastic. So where do you see Open RAN headed in the next 2 to 3 years? Are we going to see a momentum and snowballing there? It's been a little slow to take off, but the work is being done by you and other players behind the scenes. Where do you predict we'll be with Open RAN and similar open telecom initiatives?
I would say the momentum that has been built over the years, it's going to continue, and it will be a gradual progress, not a dramatic progress, maybe. But I think the industry is going through an adjustment phase right now with respect to the promise and hype around 5G and the reality of how much monetization can happen with the 5G services. I think as that happens for the broader 5G story, the Open RAN story can come in handy to reduce the overall expenses, primarily the capex and opex part, and then the industry will settle down to a phase where it will be a mix of closed vendor solution, closed RAN solutions, and Open RAN solutions both. And the build up or the build out of the networks will be gradual, not at a, I would say, furious pace going forward.
Great. And this is no longer just a wireless story. We're seeing a lot of integration between wireless and what we'd call wireline in the past. How do you foresee, this integration coming together as we get rid of the old copper networks and move to a true end-to-end digital network?
Yeah. Glad that you brought it up. And I think we firmly believe the modernization of both wireline and wireless network has to happen given the demands of the subscribers, right? And in the wireline network space, we offer this OLT PON solutions, and we are seeing a significant level of interest across continents with operators opting for upgrades in their network and more cloud-based solutions to centralize as much as possible in the wireline network, and more open hardware and open architectures, and bringing in the best of, I would say, all the cloud and autonomous management principles in line with what we are doing in the open RAN space. And that is converging. And we also see that the Wi-Fi unlicensed space can also be an additive or complementary technology to what we are trying to achieve through wireline and cellular. And we acquired a company named Mimosa Networks last year, and it's been a year now. And this company offers solutions which are based on unlicensed Wi-Fi, both for point-to-point and point-to-multipoint connections. And we've been able to successfully deploy this technology for operators at a very, very affordable cost. So we see this as multiple pillars of access connectivity and all embracing open standards and being cloud hosted as much as possible. There will be a cloud layer and edge location or edge hosting, all of this with possibility of doing some co-processing of edge applications along with the network connectivity nodes.
Well, fantastic to hear. And of course, Radisys has been a powerhouse in media processing for as long as I can remember.
Exactly.
And it's really come to a head here as we see all kinds of new video use cases on 5G and, things like real-time translation, all things you're involved with. How do you see 5G impacting the media processing world, and anything new in your pipeline there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So we are already working on some of the proof of concept implementations, and this includes some of the industry-oriented applications, private network-oriented applications, right? Wherein you do an edge processing of the media, either coming from a 5G-enabled camera, and it could be for some of the industrial processes, or it could be some security-related application scenarios, airport security, and so on. So we do see that uh, the exciting opportunity of innovation there, but at the same time, when we talk about the complexities involved in doing a very refined job of addressing all the nuances of the use case. Right? We need more work, and so typically it starts with a POC or a proof of concept and going to a more elaborate implementation. But the introduction of AI capabilities both at the device and at the edge is a reality, and the edge location wherein we do the last mile connectivity either through a wireline or wireless access point. That's where more processing can be enabled, offloading the centralized uh, servers of some of the burden of processing all the media which is coming in at scale. So I think this is going to be a reality of a shared level of, I would say, media processing between the device, edge location, and the centralized servers. So that's going to be the model for future, enabling multiple use cases. It could be streaming to very, very specific industry-oriented applications.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for the update. Really interesting work. It's good to see the industry is still thriving in telecom and wireless, despite a lot of consolidation and competitive concerns. What are you excited about the next few months as we head into the end of the year? We got lots of interesting meetings and events, Mobile World Congress in Las
Correct.
Vegas.
Coming
What
up.
else is on your mind?
Yeah, yeah. So we are preparing right now for the MWC Las Vegas event, and wherein we'll be able to showcase some of the advanced features in our 5G portfolio. And this includes, I would specifically mention non-terrestrial network connectivity, the satellite-based 5G connectivity. There's a lot of interest in this space, and we are also looking at working very closely with the device ecosystem for the massive IoT connectivity in 5G networks through this feature called RedCap or the reduced capability devices.
Mm.
These are the exciting things which we are working on, and we hope to see many potential customers and partners in these shows.
Well, good luck and thanks for the update. We had a lot of 3 and 4 letter acronyms, but for us telecom geeks, we love to dive into those. So thanks for your time, Ganesh, and onwards and upwards.
Thank you, Ivan. Great
Thanks so
talking to you.
much, and thanks for
Thank you.
listening, everyone.